but I think we'll never be the same afterwards, and I don't mean that in a bad way.
Yeah, yeah. I know that's crazy, right? It's been so nuts with so much going on. I mean, you think it can't get any worse, and all of a sudden it gets worse, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it always gets worse before it gets better. But we just know that weeping only endures for a night. You know,
sure.
even Corona has an expiration date.
That's true. That's true. And I think my subscribers just said there was no sound. So can you guys hear us now? You guys got sound coming in? Somebody put on the chat, we got it. We got it. That'll make us know we can keep talking and you guys can hear his incredible story. So somebody tell me we got sound. We got sound out there? Anybody? Hello, hello. We want to make sure you can hear us. This is super important. So, yep, we got sound. Excellent, excellent, excellent.
Great,
So,
great.
since you missed the first part with sound, that's unfortunate. We just wanted to welcome you to the Beautiful Now Live podcast. We wanted to let you know this is going to happen every Tuesday at 1 p.m., where you'll be able to come in with us as a lunchtime chat and speak with a special guest. It's going to talk about things that are relevant to you in your world. We're going to be talking about things that can help you uplifted and keep you encouraged and hopefully keep you inspired. So I was talking about how awesome my special guest was since you didn't hit sound the first time. And my special guest, his name is Percy Bady. So now we can do a little bit more. Percy, can you talk to him a little bit? Now we hear
Yes, yes, yes.
you.
I'm glad to be with you today.
And it's the first live stream with technical difficulties. You got to have that, right? You got to mess up at least once.
Hey, at least once, at least, at least once, at least once.
Well,
But
like,
everybody can hear us good now.
yeah,
Everybody can hear us good.
everybody here is good. That's a good thing. That's a good thing, man. So, today you and I are going to talk about something that we've talked about a little bit before, and that I want people to realize everybody's going through, and that's kind of the battle of being resilient, the battle of resilience. Resilience is something we're all going to need to go through, right there, Percy?
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely something we're all gonna have to go through, but it's something that it's not just because of now, but even before now. I mean, just it's life. It's called part of life. There's a natural ebb and flow to life.
Mm,
If every day is rainy, then we'll never appreciate the sun.
that's true.
You know,
That's
and
true.
then if every day is sunny, we'll never appreciate the rain.
Mm, mm,
So we need a balance of the two. And I think, sometimes it seems like, sometimes you can get more of one or the other, and it can be overwhelming, like right now, what we're going through right now. But the reality is that a friend of mine said to me, the earth is resetting itself,
mm,
you
mm.
know,
That's good.
and I never thought about it from that perspective, but that's a good analogy. That's a good analogy.
Sure.
But even more importantly, I think the reset really applies to us as people.
Mm, mm,
Reset, you know, uh, refresh,
mm,
renew,
mm.
all of those things. I think it's an opportunity, especially for creatives. It's a great time.
Yes, yes. Well, let me take a look at something. We were talking about the definition of resilience. Let me read it off my notes here. Resilience, being able to withstand or recover quickly from difficult conditions. We're all going through that right now, for sure. But the
Mm-hmm.
second one that I thought was interesting was that to be able to recoil or spring back into shape after bending or stretching. That's where I feel like, especially your story, you've been able to come back from, being bent out of shape, being torn away, being in a place where you don't know how this is going to end, and yet
Mm-hmm.
you've sprung back. You've come back to the place even stronger than you were before. And that's where I
Mm-hmm.
feel like all of us are being put in a position to possibly walk this resilience out. And you made a statement before we started that there's actually a beauty to resilience, and I'll let you kind of dig
Oh,
that in for
oh
sure.
yeah. I mean, there's this segment could really be called the beauty of resilience because it's like the beautiful ugly. It's like that. It's understanding that there's something beneficial that can come from being stretched and being pulled and being made uncomfortable. There's something beautiful that can come from that. And for most of us, when we're enduring that, all we're thinking about is the moment that we're in at that time. And we don't think about what could come from that moment, how we could benefit from that moment, um, and how how we can grow from that moment. So I would like to call this the beauty of resilience
Well,
because
I
there's
like
a
that.
beauty in being resilient.
Well, you are the special guest. You can do whatever you want to do. How about that?
Thanks,
You can
man.
do whatever you want. That's how I'm gonna call that.
Okay,
Um,
okay.
so let's dig in a little bit into your life and how this resilience has lasted and how it's walked through and how you've had to get up and come back and get up and be recoiled. How long have you been a part of music? Just give me that first.
Man, I have been a part of music since my mom said at 3 years old, I started banging out on the piano. And I remember being 6 years old. And I remember going to, back then, the big box stores that they had back then were stores like Zayre's, you know? And,
Man, you
I'm,
dating yourself just a little bit.
I'm dating myself
You're
here.
dating yourself
Yeah,
just a little bit with that.
yeah, but we went to my mom took me to Zayre's, and Zayre's was a big box store that had everything as well, like a Walmart, much like Walmart. I'll just say that. And they had an aisle that was an electronic aisle, and it had like little keyboards and stuff in it. And man, some kind of way I got away from my mom, and I got to that aisle and got to a little keyboard, man, and I started playing the melody of what I was hearing playing over the speakers. So it was like I was playing along with what I was hearing. And my firstborn, um, and something different about a firstborn. So um, at 8 years old, though, is when the tide really turned for me. Because at 8 years old, we were at my mom's god sister's house, and they're around the table and they're playing cards and laughing and joking. And there was an old piano over in the corner, and I went over to the piano and I started playing on the piano, and everybody dropped what they were doing and they came over to the piano and they started singing and just rejoicing and laughing and just enjoying it. When I saw the look on their faces, I was like, man, I know this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life.
Wow, you
This
knew
is
that
what I'm
young?
I knew at 8 years old, man, this is what I'm supposed to do because it brought people together. It made people, I don't know what anybody was going through. I was 8 years old, but I knew at that moment they got to the piano, they weren't thinking about that. They were like engaged in that particular moment, the joy of that moment at that time.
Wow,
So,
wow,
yeah,
that's incredible. And just to be a blessing to know that you knew your path at 8 years old. That's not where most of us end up. So let's just call that out right now. Most of us aren't there in that space, but that's always
man, I
awesome.
mean, I knew it, and Derek, to be honest, man, I don't. Um, some people say, yeah, you were special, and you were. I don't know if it was special or more importantly, it was just God's way of saying, you know what? Here's why I created you. Here's what I gave you the gift to do, and me recognizing it at an age that probably, most wouldn't, you know. And again, the beauty of that moment was seeing the smiles on people's faces and the joy that was being expressed, I
Sure.
should say. And it was the beauty of that. So
So
so I
you
would say, so if you ask me in years, I'll just say younger.
you're not gonna say. I'm gonna leave it on.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna call you out on your age. I won't do that because I'm not that kind of guy. But what I will say is I know you started off playing a church though, right from the get. Right, that was your.
Oh yeah,
You went
yeah,
right
yeah.
to the
Oh
church.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, well, my dad was a pastor,
Oh, you're a
and
PK. So you didn't put that in there. Come on.
yeah, dad was a pastor, and so he definitely you didn't have a choice. Let's just say it like that.
In the old days, you didn't have a choice. Grandma would get you up. You better get your butt to church. Come on, we going.
You're going to church. you're definitely going to church, and
I
and
remember those days, bro. I'm with you. Me and
oh
you,
yeah,
we're here.
oh yeah, man. You didn't have a choice with that, and so my dad was a pastor. My mom was a Sunday school teacher, evangelist, singer. My mom was an educator by nature, though. That was her love. Her passion was teaching. And so every Wednesday night we had Bible study in the house. Every Saturday night we had Sunday school lesson study. And on Sunday, there was no question where you were going to be. On Thursday night, there was no question where you were going to be.
Mm,
Wednesday night, you were no question where you were going to be. If my dad was going to preach anywhere during the week or on a Sunday afternoon, there's no question where you were going to be. That's
mm,
where you were going to be.
mm-hmm.
You were going to be with him. But I'm grateful for that upbringing because it also protected me, um, and it taught me a lot. It taught me the value of serving, um, because a lot of times I would go places with my dad and he would be preaching, and the guest church wouldn't have a musician, and and my dad would look at me or my mom would look at me, and I would get up and I would go help.
And that was
You
that.
know, that was it. That was it. You know, it's learning how to use what you have and every opportunity that you get, and it doesn't matter whether that opportunity was meant for you or not. You know,
Mm, mm. That's
yeah.
good. So fast forward a little bit, at least in that space. And when did you face your first battle of resilience in this arena? How did you deal with that?
I think the first battle in that arena for me was accepting the fact that I was different. You know,
I mean, were you
accepting.
teased as a kid? Did they make you
Of
feel
course,
weird?
church boy, um, church boy, music boy.
Mm,
You know, and what was funny is that I grew up with four other brothers, and so we played baseball, basketball, football. We did it all, but a lot of times I would end up um, going in the house to play music while they played ball or whatever. And so, of course, all kinds of jokes and all kinds of things would transpire. But I didn't allow it to bother me because I was passionate about music, and I mean, there were things that were happening to me that sometimes I didn't even understand, like hearing sounds and seeing colors.
mm.
So,
The creators understand what you're saying on that one. We do things in a different way. We receive things
hmm
differently. Yes, I completely agree.
yeah, you hear a train go by because we live next to a train. You hear the train, and I'm telling them that train is in the key of D. It's a low D, and it's rumbling, and so saying stuff like that was a little abstract for some. And so you get teased again, and then a lot of times I wanted to do things with my friends. I couldn't because I had to be in church. So you get called the church boy, you know.
Mm,
And so I think that first battle was just accepting the fact that I was different, you know,
mm,
that
mm.
I was different.
That's good. That's good. And you had to get up and keep going. There was no go back. There was no I can't do this church thing because you got to go up. You got to get it done.
None at all,
Uh,
none at all. There wasn't no it. There was no choice, you know. There was no choice.
well, but here, fast forward to part of that because this was a training ground for you to get better and become who you are now. You eventually became a producer, arranger, songwriter for more than just the church. You worked with, like I said in the beginning, from R. Kelly to Whitney Houston to Dionne Warwick to Fred Hammond to Kurt Franklin. So all that training time in between, it kept you resilient because you eventually became what you were supposed to become, right?
Course, of course, and I'm actually writing a book about not despising um, your humble beginnings,
Mm,
because um, your humble beginnings is what prepare you for where you're going, for where you're headed, even though you can't see it. But it helps equip you with the tools you need, so when you get to the place you're supposed to be in, you are prepared. So my journey of being called the church boy
Mm-hmm.
and the keyboard guy, the music dude, it was a journey where I was being groomed and being prepared for, what I wanted to do. At 12 years old, I'm going to the library. We had a library that I could walk to. I would walk to the library, and in this library, they had a record player, like vinyl record player, and they had a piano practice room. You can take the records in the room and play the records, and I would play along with the music.
Mm.
I started hearing things that, man, was just so inspiring that I started reading credits. That's why I got my love for reading credits
Oh,
from.
wow.
And
Wow.
so I started reading credits and I started finding out names, and there was just one name that kept coming up on a few different records that I liked, and that name was Quincy Jones.
The Duke.
But right, but the thing is that his name was on records that went from big band to soundtracks
Mm.
to R&B to pop, to jazz. There were like all these different genres that it was coming from, and I was like, at that point, I purposed in my heart, I'm going to be the Quincy Jones of gospel music. That was my thing at 12 years old.
Wow. So
That was my
you
thing.
knew then.
Yes, I'm gonna be the Quincy Jones of gospel music, and so when I
Before you continue, can you the people that are online right now, some of them are saying they can't hear you very well. So I don't know if you can turn up your microphone just to make sure they can hear you, because I don't want anybody to miss what you're saying. So just get a little closer to that mic, or make sure you're getting some good sound. All right,
Yeah, I know.
there you
I
go.
know. Is that better? If I
Yeah,
keep
just
Let
keep
me see if
talking. The
I
people will tell me on the stream whether they can hear you better or not. It's kind of nice. We can
okay,
communicate
right,
back and forth, but definitely be able to. My microphone's right here, so they can they can hear me pretty full.
right, right,
Uh,
right. So mine was a little bit away, but I'm trying to figure out how to. I'm gonna make some adjustments here to make it
just come up a
a
little
little
closer. That's all.
a little closer,
There you go.
a little closer, a little
Now you're
closer.
better. Okay.
Wake up, little
Okay.
Susie.
Okay. Now you're going back. You aging yourself again, and I didn't do that. You did. All right.
Right.
Go back to your story and finish where you were, man. So you were talking about credits. You wanted to be the Quincy Jones of the gospel
So
industry.
I wanted to be the Quincy Jones of gospel music, and so um, from being exposed to those records, man, and reading credits, I was developing a habit. I was developing something that I didn't even understand that I was developing. And that was a recognition of who did the records, where they did the records, um, what the song sounded like, who mixed the records, who wrote the songs. And so I believe by the time I was 16 years old, I probably knew um, more about songwriters and studios and stuff probably than the average 16-year-old musician, because this is what I fed myself daily going to the library since I was 12. So by the time I was 16, I had this vast understanding already of the business as it relates to who does what.
Sure.
So again, my the mantra for me was, I'm going to be the Quincy Jones of gospel music. Yeah.
Mm, mm. So let's push into and saying you got your record deal. And the industry was different then. You had to go get a record deal to make it happen. Then came the Grammy nods and all the things you worked for. But then everything changed. The industry changed. What happened for you, and how did resilience again play a part in you evolving to who you are now?
Man, well, when all of that happened, the bottom fell out for a lot of us who are creators, because that's basically how we eat, you know.
Yeah.
And
No record sales now.
right,
They're not there anymore, right?
and you're talking about somebody who, from the age of, man, I think I was 17 when I got my first job. I worked. If you allow me to tell you this short story real quick,
Go ahead
um,
on. It's your time, man.
but I graduated from high school a little early because my birthday was late. So when I graduated, I was a little younger. But funny thing about it was that my dad told me, he said, "Now look, I'm not telling you I'm gonna put you out, but when you graduate from high school, if you don't go to college, You can't just stay here. You can't just, you're gonna have to get a job.
Got
And
to get a
so
job if you're gonna be with
gotta
me. Come on, old
gotta
school.
get a job. Gotta get a job. So I went and got a job. I went and got a job, and um, I got a job at Midway Airport. I was a line serviceman. I was a guy who was the guy who would be out there flagging planes and fueling jets, Lear jets. This was a private company that I worked for at the time. And so we fueled Lear jets, we cleaned them, we de-iced them. This was the dead of winter. And every day, man, um, I took my keyboard in one hand and an amplifier in another. I rode the bus to this job.
Mm.
Dude, some days it was snowing bad, and I'd be carrying this stuff. I'd carry it to work, set it up in the break room, and every break, every lunch, if we were slow, I would play that keyboard. One day, my supervisor came in, man, and this is probably after being there almost a month. My supervisor came in, he's standing at the outside of the door, and I could see him in the shadow. And he finally walks in, he said, "Can I ask you a question?" I said, "Sure." He said, um, "Why are you here?" I said, "Huh?" He's like, "It." He says, "Man, some days I come in here and on break, and I stand outside the door. I don't even come in. I just stand outside, man, and listen to you play. And your playing just does something to me. Sometimes I've had an argument with my wife or something just doesn't feel right, and I come and stand outside the door and I hear you play, and man, it makes me calm and peaceful, and I just feel relaxed. I just don't know why you're here. It sounds like to me this is what you should be doing." And I looked at him and I said, "Okay, thanks." When the bell went off, because I worked the graveyard shift, 10 to 6. When that 6 a.m. bell went off, I took off that Butler aviation outfit and I went to him and I told him, I said, "Thank you for this opportunity. I'm going to chase this music." He looked at me, he said, "Man, if you ever need a job again," he said, "I doubt you will, but if you ever need a job again, I got you. You can come back." And so the that battle there, the battle of, man, my dad saying, "Hey man, if you're gonna stay here, you need a job." But then on the other hand, my passion saying, "Hey man, what about me? This music over here, this music." And so that battle in itself, man, was one that it messed me up for a minute, but it was like after I talked to that supervisor that night, man, it was like everything I needed to give me energy. And when I came home, I told my mom what I had done, and she said, "Well, your dad is, he's not going to be happy about it." And I said, "It's okay, because I'm ready. Whatever I need to do, I'm ready." And so that actually started my journey musically. So when you talk about resilience, you need to understand that when you encounter, because my dad was from the South, all he's known is working with his hands. That's all he's known. He's never known anything about somebody being creatively talented. He didn't understand that.
Well, in his
And
mind, it's a hard day's work for honest pay. The old school mantra kind of thing. So you
exactly,
can't blame him for that. That's where he came from.
that's where he came from, and I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all. We laugh about it and we joke about it now, uh, because I lived like a gypsy for a while. I was out, chasing my dream. I was out, going after what I felt and what I knew I was called to do. And so, yeah, it's the bottom dropped out of the industry. But what I had reminded myself is I reminded myself of that job at Midway, and how when I was told, I needed to do this in order for this to happen, I realized that if I trusted my passion and if I stayed with my passion, you know, that eventually the passion is going to win out. So when the bottom dropped, everybody was freaking out, and and yeah, there was some freak out for me because I hadn't worked a job a job since I was 17. You know,
Wow.
this thing had taken care of me.
Wow.
Music had literally taken care of me and provided, a life for me and my family. And so
And some people out there can identify with that right now who have lost their job maybe from corona or who've worked a
yes,
job, been there for years. All of a sudden, their job is gone. All of a sudden, their means of income is gone. And they have to get
yes,
up and go, all I've ever done is this job. Now they have
hmm
to reinvent themselves to do something different. That's not always easy. Um,
it's not it's not always easy, but you got to remind yourself, man, I didn't get here without a struggle. you know, where I am, I had to fight to get here. And sometimes people say, well, why do we always have to fight to get to where we're trying to get? Because you got to understand something. The reality is that something happens within the fight that gives you what you need to move forward and press forward into what your destiny is.
yes.
No fight, you don't have everything you need. So it's like you gotta have that tussle, you gotta have that wrestle, you gotta have that exchange that helps give you power, that helps give you muscle, and gives you that fortitude to keep going.
We got to have adversity. Without adversity, we don't get stronger. We talk about what happens in the gym when you work out, when you're pushing up the weight. If you
That's
don't
it.
have enough weight on the bar and you just going light, you think you're just doing something,
Mm-hmm.
you don't get
Mm-hmm.
stronger until that thing gets heavier, until it's something that you
Mm-hmm.
can't push. Then the
That's it.
adversity of it, you have to push with all your might. And once you get it up once, you're gonna have to do it again. But you have to have that adversity, that something against for you to become stronger than you are now, or you'll
That
always be in
that
that
is
same
it.
place.
It's the beauty of a diamond, man. It's the beauty of coal and a diamond. The coal is pressed. It's hard pressed, and it goes through a process before the beauty of the diamond is revealed.
Mm.
So who we really are is not revealed when times are great.
That's true. Who you are is who you are when it's tough, when
When
it's
it's tough,
ugly,
that's it.
when it's
When it's
ugly.
tough, when it's a challenge, when it's the thing that makes us uncomfortable.
Mm.
That's the beauty.
Well, let's add on the fact that record sales are gone, your income is gone, you don't know how you're gonna get this done, and then you call me and you say, "Man, I got cancer." I'm like, "What? Are you kidding me? You blew my mind." Talk to me
Yeah,
about that.
yeah. So, so, man, out of nowhere, my wife is pushing me and she's telling me, she's like, you need to go take a physical. You haven't had a physical in a while, so you should go. And so I go to this physical, man, and the doctors called me back and they say, hey, your PSA level was a little high. Um, we want you to come in and take another test, and let's just make sure things are good. And I went back in, did another test, and they were higher. My PSA levels were higher than the first time. And so at that point, they were like, "Well, we're gonna need to do a couple things, a couple tests, run a couple tests, and find out what this is." And so I had to do these tests, man. But before I could do the tests, I had to do a colonoscopy because I hadn't done that.
And those
All
aren't
right,
fun.
those are very fun, man.
I said those aren't fun.
Right. So I had to do that, man, and so I went and did that, and in the midst of doing that, man, I got coming out of recovery, I got hit with other news, that I had lost another source of income, and it felt like things were just the bottom was just dropping out of everything, man. And so, but the cancer battle was a battle. I had to choose my battles. I had to decide which battle I was going to fight. Am I going to fight this battle over here about finances? Or am I going to fight the battle about my life? I chose to fight for my life. Um, the cancer diagnosis, Derek, was probably one of the most mentally
Right. Mm, mm,
45.
mm,
Um,
mm,
my brother died at 28, okay, from
mm.
that. And so when I got the diagnosis, I'm like really like freaking out, going, okay, wait, me, I wrote the songs that people have sung, and I wrote the songs that have helped people get through tough times, and I've tried to do the things that I thought you told me to do. Hey, look, I wanted to be the Quincy Jones of gospel. I think I've done a good job at trying to do that. And why God? Why me? Why me? Why me? Why me? Why me? Man, I had a couple good friends that was encouraging me. My sister Nisha, my brother Sean Cooper, who took me to every treatment that I had. Man, and even though they were there, I still felt alone. And it wasn't until the first day I got on the radiation table that the tables turned.
Mm.
I got on the radiation table, and they have to set you a certain way because I was being treated for prostate cancer. So let me clarify what kind of cancer it was. I was being treated for prostate cancer, and so they put me on this table, and they put you in a certain place, and you're not supposed to move. And um, they said, "Okay, Mr. Beatty, we're getting ready to start, and if you need anything, just call out to us. We're getting ready to start the treatment." So they gave me this ring, the rubber ring that you hold close to your chest, and that's supposed to help you kind of stay still. Well, so they start the treatment, and the machine goes off, and I jump, and they go, "Okay, we're gonna have to start this again, Mr. Beatty. We have to reset you. We're gonna have to set you up all over again because you got to stay still." I was like, "Okay," but the machine, it scared me. I didn't know it was gonna sound like that, and so God knew that I didn't like the sound of the machine, and so the next day I came in for the treatment, man. When they started the treatment, God started singing over me.
Mm.
And He started singing some of the songs that I wrote, some of the songs that I talked about to Him that I had wrote for others. And He started singing them back to me. But then He also started singing me new songs.
Mm.
And when He started singing me these new songs, I was like, okay, what is this for? And He said, you have inside of you what others who are going through this very same thing don't have the ability to do. You can create from this. You
Wow.
have the ability to create a soundtrack to the very thing that's going on in your life. And that's what you're going to do. You're going to create this soundtrack. You're going to create this thing that will help others get through what they're trying to get through. And I was like, okay. And so the songs would come, man, and they would just come, and they would come, and they would never leave me. And so I started penning these songs, man, and I started paying attention when I come in the room in the morning for treatment, and I'm looking around at people. I'm looking around, and I'm seeing people, and I'm seeing the loss of hope, and I'm seeing people who look hopeless, and and as I'm sitting there, I can hear the Holy Spirit saying, "This is why your music is important. This is why what you do is so valuable. This is what you've been prepared for. This is what you've been preparing for a long time. You could not create the songs that you just written without going through this process. This process had to happen in order for this music to be birthed, in order for these songs to be birthed, in order for people to hear. So your journey is not your journey. Yeah, it happened to you, but it wasn't about you. It was about how I can get the glory out of your life through your story.
Wow. Wow. Uh,
Yeah,
Resilience,
yeah.
man. I don't.
Resilience.
I.
It's
It's,
understanding. It's understanding, man. That no matter what I learned, man, is that what it happened to me, but I had to make a choice. I had to make a choice. Yeah, it happened to me. Am I going to be sad? Am I going to sulk? Am I going to be, what am I going to do? Oh, I lost my mom to this. Oh, I lost my brother. No, and what am I? No, 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 no. Here's the script. It was like the Holy Spirit was saying, no, here's the script, and you're gonna read the script. You see your lines? Those are the lines you're going to repeat. And this is how you're going to carry yourself. This is how you're going to act because there's something bigger on the other side of this.
Wow, wow. I knew part of the story, but I didn't know all of it. And of course, to hear it back and to know what you went through and to know that, like you said, it didn't it happened to you, but you had to decide how to react to it. And I
Yes, sir.
think that's where we land with life a lot of times. Life happens to everybody. No one is
Everyone.
exempt from resilience. No one's exempt from tragedy. No one's exempt from things coming at them and taking them off course. It
That's
all
right.
depends on how we respond to it. And
It
we get
does.
the choice every single day to choose. It's not always an easy
And
choice, but we do
mm-hmm,
get a choice.
that's it.
And you made the choice to take your you wouldn't even say tragedy because it's built you up now. You took that part of your life and you turned it into songs for other people to be blessed by, for other
That's
people
right.
to live
That's
by.
right. I say it like this: God took what was tragic and showed me that it was really strategic.
Mm, mm,
You know,
yeah.
He showed me that it was really strategic because He had a plan, and His plan has been unfolding ever since.
And that's how some people that we hear about on television and movies, that when you hear, oh, they did this great thing, or they went through this great tragedy, and then they come out and they write a book and it saves millions of lives, or they do a movie and it changes lives because that one person took their story and decided to share it in a way that helps people rather than internalize it and make it, oh, about
Mm-hmm.
me, woe is me, I'm
Mm-hmm.
just doing that other thing. But they inspire people.
That's right.
Uh,
That's right, man. Tony Robbins said that you find out your true value not when you are doing what benefits you, but when you're doing what benefits others.
yeah.
When others can grow from what it is that you do.
And through.
The one constant was my faith. The one constant was my faith in trusting that God had a plan, even in the darkest parts, even in the darkest times, man. There were days and doing radiation, man, that I was so tired and sleepy, man, and just wanted to rest. And and then there were mornings, man, I was mad. I would go to treatments, man, I'd be upset, I'd be mad, and just why me? And I was just all of those things. I was going through all. I was human. I was being human. I was being human, but yet I understood, and my mom, there's some things. The Bible says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he's old, he won't depart. Didn't say he would stray, but he won't depart. So whatever your parents put in you as children eventually comes out of you. And so in those times where I
Amen to
felt
that.
that way, on those times where I felt that way, man, my faith manifested. It was like, man, do you really believe in the God that your mom taught you about? Do you really believe? Because, see, he had to become the God that I knew, not the God that my mom knew,
Mm,
not the God that
yes.
my dad knew. He had to become the God that I knew.
Mm,
So, in that moment, I got to know God in a way that I didn't know him before because now I can call him a healer. I can call him a healer because he healed me. I don't have to say it because he healed somebody else, because I can say it because he healed me. He kept my mind in perfect peace. Man, I a bunch of people differently, man.
mm, mm.
And what we really need to be thinking about is that how we handle this thing is how it determines how we come out.
There's the marker. How we handle it will determine how we come out. And on that note, I'm gonna get ready to close this here because I know we're supposed to be about 30 minutes. I want to make sure I
Oh,
keep to my word on
oh,
these segments. The people that want to watch
I'm
know it'll
sorry. I
be.
can talk.
No, it's
I've been talking too long.
you're
I'm
the
sorry.
first guest, and I love that you're sharing so much because I want people to be engaged. But I also want to keep my word as integrity. Some people come on, they'll go, okay, I don't want to miss anything, but I want to make sure we lock it down.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
so let's just close the thought with, um, you know, what's next for Percy Beatty? Because you went through all the evolution and you had to reinvent yourself because there were no real record sales, there were no more the way you made money, how you fed yourself. So you come to this masterclass, pen and pad. Talk about that.
So, man, I'm passionate about songs. I always have been passionate about songs. And in our industry, man, we hear a lot of things that we have sidebar conversations about, and we talk about, oh man, that's not a great song. Oh man, that's horrible. Oh no, they could have said that a different way. Oh, that's bad. That's just bad. That's just, and I thought about it, and I was like, man, you know what? I can just continue to talk about what the problem is, or I can roll up my sleeves and I can help, contribute to an answer. And I love songwriting. I love the aspect of reading. I love words. And so um, I was like, man, you know what? I'll just start doing, just literally, I would do Facebook Lives. Just, I would go and I would call it songwriting 101, and I would just, for free, just go online, just go and just do. And the more that I would do it, the more I found out that there were people who really needed it and who wanted it. And so through some conversations with my sister Nisha and with my brother and some others, man, I just, I was like, you know what? I think I can create a platform that will allow me to 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 continually survive, but yet help some other people. And when you can add value to other people, when your information that you have, the knowledge that you have, can add value to other people, it's worth something. It
Yes.
has it has it's worth something. And so we started Pen and Pad, PENINPAD, Pen and Pad, penandpad.com. And basically, Pen and Pad is all things songs. It's just about me teaching the aspect of songwriting, even from a beginning standpoint, up into, a professional level. But then there's also mentorship and there's, other things as well that we do. But the focus is songs, teaching why songs, because songs drive our industry. Songs drive everything. Think about TV with no songs. Think about radio with no songs. Think about an artist with no songs. Think about all of these different, platforms, movies with no songs, musicians with no songs.
Wow, that's powerful.
So
That's
that's
powerful. You think about it
so
that way.
songs is a moving thing, yeah. So we created this platform, and so I do master classes as well. Every few months or so, we do master classes in person. But we've also developed a online 12-week songwriting course that we're unfolding as well. And it's all about just trying to give people the tools to write, effective songs.
Well, man, I sure do appreciate you stopping by and being the first guest on our Beautiful Now live lunchtime chat. I hope that people that have watched have learned something and been encouraged, been inspired to know that whatever you're going through, you can get through it. You can be resilient. You can make it
You
happen.
can
You can
bounce back.
continue.
That's
You
right.
just like the definition says. You can bounce back. You can scale back. Put that thought on your mind. You don't have to stay where you are. You can bounce back. And
Hmm.
I know that a lot of us, like I said, are facing other things. But remember that what you're going through can also be for someone else. Sometimes
Amen.
we're given something on our life, and we just think, oh, well, it's me. But the Creator may have put that on you because He knew you could handle it, and He
Amen.
knew that you'd be able to share that with someone else to bring them
Hmm.
through. We don't always
Amen.
think about it that way, but that's a real thing where people that have gone through things can be able to articulate it and share it with someone else. So, thank you so much for being a part of the Beautiful Now Live family. We're going to have this again every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Meet us here at this channel. The next week's
1
guest,
p.m. Eastern.
1 p.m. Eastern. You know what? I got my hand spanked on that one. Sorry about that. 1 p.m. Eastern. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, 1 p.m.
1
Eastern.
p.m.
But
Eastern.
before you go, I just want to tell you, man, thank you for creating such a beautiful platform, man, to encourage people like us, man. It's important that we have this kind of platforms, man, where we can find the inspiration and things to ignite us, to encourage us, uplift us, and inspire us, man. So I want to salute you, Derek, man, for creating Beautiful Now.
Man, I appreciate that, man. It comes down to you do what you do to serve others. And I kept looking around thinking everybody is fussing that the world is bad, but they do nothing to change it. They just fuss. This is my pour back out to make my change in the world somehow, some way. One video, one interview at a time. Because like we
Yeah,
talked about earlier, you just touch one, and if that
that's it.
one is touched, you never know where that goes. That ripple goes across, and you never know
That's
where
it.
that ends. But if you do nothing, then nothing happens, and who wins?
That's when.
So I
That's
sure
it,
do
man.
appreciate you stepping in with that. Next week, our next guest is going to be somebody named Henny the Business. I'm not sure if you ever heard of this guy, but this guy is another World War producer, but he's also a YouTube influencer, and he's been changing the game. He's going to be talking about building an online business and how relevant that is right now, because income is crazy. So if you can build a business from home that can supply and take care of income, how cool would that be, right? So look for us again, 1 p.m. Eastern. Thank you so much for staying with us. God bless. Take care. Take care of yourself. Wash your hands, please. And don't forget to stay inspired. Take care, guys.